Hi, this is Dana Winkleplack. As so many of you know, I am an anchor here at WTWO, but I've also been a media witness to 11 federal executions. And we talk a lot about what happens at each execution, but I get a lot of questions just about the execution process itself. So I thought I would just walk you through what happens from a media person's perspective. On the day of the execution, we are told to be at the media center at a very specific time. You can't be early and you can't be late. Because it is during the time of COVID, our temperature is taken, and if that's okay, then we're issued our credentials. We're taken over to security. And I call this airport security on steroids. They just want to make sure that we don't have any contraband, that we're not trying to sneak any kind of recording equipment into the execution chamber. We're then taken by van to the execution chamber building. Now, it is a building all by itself. It is not attached to any other buildings there on the prison grounds. In the middle of the building is a big room, and that is where the execution takes place. And then there are smaller rooms on the outside. There is a room for the media witnesses, there is a room for witnesses for the inmate, and there is a room for witnesses for the victim. I'm told there's also a room for like any type of Bureau of Prison person or whoever they would designate to be there as well. Now, at the back of the room is a restroom, just in case you need it. There are chairs for you to sit in, and there are two big windows at the front, and those windows look into the execution chamber. They're covered with blinds until the execution process is about to begin, and then the blinds come up. The execution room, it looks kind of like an operating room. The inmate is strapped to a gurney, and there are tubes and wires that come out of a wall, and you can see that they're attached to the inmate. Now, some of those tubes contain the drug that will be used to put the inmate to death, and then some of those wires and tubes, they're kind of the telemetry to check things like heart rate, respiration, that kind of thing. So the first thing that happens is the inmate is asked if they have any final words. I have seen some people say nothing. I have seen some people be very angry and deny they committed the crime. And I have seen some people be very sorrowful and apologize for what they did. After that, someone with the Bureau of Prison reads to the inmate what they had been convicted of, and then that person asks a U.S. Marshal if there is anything that would impede the execution. Now, that U.S. Marshal is standing beside a black phone at the back of the room. That black phone goes to the U.S. Justice Department's command center. The person who is with the U.S. Marshal Service, they pick up that phone, they talk to the person on the other end, just to make sure that there are no last-minute appeals, there's no stay, there's no pardon. In my experience, everyone I've seen, the answer has been no, and the execution process can then begin, and it does. It takes anywhere from about 10 minutes to a half an hour for a person to die. Someone comes out of one of the rooms with a stethoscope, checks the vitals of the inmate, then goes back into that room, and then the time of death is announced and the blinds come back down. We are then taken back to the media center. If anyone from the victim's witnesses wants to talk to us, then they are brought to the media center and we are able to interview them. And then we start writing our stories and filing our reports. So again, I have witnessed 11 federal executions, and that process has been the same every time.